So from all these debugging, from the code pipeline all the way to the code build and the build history, and we get this little nice UI that tells us what happens, we figured that we're missing this build spec.yaml file. So let's go to code commits and we'll add file, we'll create a file, and I will go and fill out that file. The file name is going to be build spec.yaml. So it's not recommended, obviously, to do it through this UI. It's better to go and use Git for this, but because this is beginners and we just want to get things done, I'll use it this way. Now we have to write this file, and so for writing this file, there is a very particular format that you need to do. And so I'll just type it out as you go, just to explain to you what happens and what commands are executed. But usually that file you would create, in your own time, and you would look up on the internet how to write it. So the first thing we have to do is set the version. And so the version is 0.2. And then we have to set up phases. So this is the YAML format. And if you don't know about the YAML format, I recommend you go online just to check out a little bit how this works. And so here, basically in YAML, you have to add tabs anytime you have a colon. So the phase is going to be that the first phase is going to be the install phase. And here we're going to have commands. And this command, the first one, so this is the start of a list, is just echo. And we can just say installing something. And we're not installing anything. We just want to have a little bit of log saying that we went into this command. Okay. Now we go into the pre-build phase. And these are all optionals, but I like to outline them just to show you how they work. And here we say we are in the pre-build phase. And we're not going to do anything as well in the pre-build phase, but we could do stuff if we wanted to. Now for the build, we're going to write a bunch of commands. And so here we say we are in the build block and the actual test that I want to run. Okay, so we'll say here we will run some tests. And so the test that I want to run, it's a little bit of a tricky command, and that's okay. It's just something I had to research online, but I'll type grep -fq congratulations and then index.html. So what does this do? Grep is basically to look whether or not the string congratulation is in my index.html file. And if it is in it, the grep command will succeed. If not, then the grep command will fail and my build step will entirely fail. So I hope that makes sense. Now the next thing I want to do is a post build step. So we can have a post build and we can type some commands and we can say echo, we are in the post build phase. That sounds right. And then at the very end, we could set up some artifacts, etc., etc. But for us, this is enough. So basically here, we're running a test here at this one line saying, hey, we're going to grep for the index.html file and look for the string congratulations. And that test should pass if we have congratulations in there, and it shouldn't if it doesn't. So let's scroll down, and my email address is stefan@example.com, and I will commit the file. And now we have added the build spec, and the changes were added to the master branch. So now you should know exactly what happens. We go to the code pipeline. Let's cancel this, discard. And so what we should see is that, yes, the source just turned blue. So because we have released a change in AWS code commit, we should see an execution right here happening. And then when the execution is happening, it should go ahead and trigger a build and test. So let's wait a little bit. So now we have succeeded the pull with the build spec file. And now the build and test is actually running and we expect it to pass. So let's just wait a little bit to see if that build and test passes. And now we can see that the build and test turned green and it just succeeded. So let's click on details because we kind of want to have more details here. So as we can see, the pipeline took about 2 minutes to run and we can look at all the phase details. And so it was submitted, provisioning, download source, install, pre-build, build, post-build, upload artifacts, finalizing, and completed. So this just tells you the whole things that should happen. And so if we look at provisioning, it tells you how long it took. If you look at download source, it tells you how long it took. If we look at pre-build, etc., and build, you get the idea. Everything can be expanded. The really interesting thing is that we can look into the build logs and see, what happens and which commands are being run. So if we look at things, it says, yeah, I found a YAML location. So here's my YAML location file. And now I'm going to find 4 phases. There's post build with 1 command, install with 1 command, pre-build with 1 command, and build with 3 commands. So this is exactly what we had in our build spec.yaml file, which is good. And then as I scroll down, it goes into the first phase, which is called install, and it runs a small echo command. So it says, hey, installing something. Obviously, we're not installing anything, but you get the idea. Then we go into the pre-build phase, and we echo we are in the pre-build phase, so you see the output right here. And let's scroll down. We are in the build box, so there's 3 commands here. We will run some tests, which is running as well. And then it says running command grep, congratulations, index.html. And we see no output. That means that this command ran successfully. And it says phase complete, build success true. So the build success ran. And then we get the end of the block. And so because everything run successfully, then the code build passes and we get a little green. And now the staging also worked and we're good. So now what happens if we actually want to fail that test? So let's go back to the code, go to index.html, and I will not say congratulations. I will say edit, and I will say something like horrible. And here I will say stefan@example.com, welcome users with horrible. And so obviously that should make my test fails. So I'll go ahead and commit my changes. And now you get the idea of CI/CD. You know, that's what I wanted you to understand out of it. CI/CD is awesome because I can quickly change code using Git in code commit. And then automatically my code pipeline, my code build is going to run. And I don't have to do any more intervention than this. And so I really gain in efficiency. So now let's just wait for things to happen. And so now we can see that the build and test failed. So let's click on details of it and link to the execution details. And we can see that all worked except to the build step. And the build step just failed because it says error while executing command. Congratulations, index.html, exit status 1. So if we look at the log, basically when the build container ran this command, it got a non-zero exit status, which is what we wanted because we were testing for whether or not congratulations was written into the index.html, and my test caught it. And basically, thanks to the fact that my test has caught this error, then I got a red here, and I know something is wrong as a developer in my code. I changed my code in a bad way, and I have to go ahead and fix it because my code will never be deployed to staging if it has test errors. So now I can go ahead and obviously edit my file one more time and fix this as horrible mistake and do, hey, congratulations, maybe with this time a little punctuation. And so here, stefan@example.com, commit the changes with an exclamation point. I have my congratulations. And so now this time, because I have fixed my code, then the whole pipeline should run, source should run, build and test should run and become green, and we get the idea of how things worked. So that's it for code build. You could go into your code build interface now and look at your build project. So there is this one build project that we have created, and we can create a project from here as well. We can look at the build history and see how long each build took. So I'll get build for 20 seconds for this one, 20 seconds for this one, 8 seconds for this one. So this is how my build run, and right now I'm still in the free tier, so that's perfect. We can look at metrics, so we can see how many builds were run, the duration of the build, the successful build, and the failed build, so we get some nice metrics. So if I were to use code build over time, I would get all these nice little metrics. And so yeah, you're able to click on the project and look at the triggers. So this one doesn't have any trigger for the project. That's expected because Code Pipeline is the source provider. So this is what will trigger this code build. And then we could look at project specific metric again, same metrics, but at the project level instead of at all the projects level. So that's it for code build. Overall, that was a very long hands-on, I know, but I wanted to show you the whole power of integrating code build, code pipeline, and code commit, also with Elastic Beanstalk. And I hope that inspires you to use CI/CD to its full power. And as you see, I haven't created any server to do my build, my test, and my deploy. It's all managed. And I think that's what amazing is about this AWS CI/CD tools. So I hope that was helpful, and I will see you in the next lecture.